Happy birthday, birthday boy.
Happy birthday, Montego. 40 years since we got the Montego. And this is a British Leyland car that I don't need any convincing of, because I think the shape of this is just right. And I love the MG version.
Yeah.
But the car I love even better in the Montego range is the Countryman Estate, because this car suited estate car shapes better than anything else that's ever been made.
It did. As a teenager, yeah, that was our family car, white Montego Estate. I didn't love it at the time. Of course I didn't.
No.
I didn't appreciate it then,
No.
but now I do. Of course I do.
But this came at a really difficult time for British Leyland, and they needed it to be good. And just like the Maestro, and to a certain extent, just like the Metro, when they brought it out, it wasn't good. Like, almost a decade in development, and then so much time to get the thing launched, and they brought it out with the wrong kit. It was unreliable. The bodywork was bad quality, and it just, they had to then work on it while the car was out before, and by that point you've lost your fleet market and everything else. We'll get into all of that, but it is the Montego's birthday, and because I'm a typical bloke, it says birthday happy Bert, but that's fine, because the Montego got mine, and I've got a 1 for the Maestro, because the Maestro was 40 last year. We won't leave it out, are we? It's like when you've got 2 kids. I've got 3 kids, you can't leave them out on the other one's birthday. But I'm 80s man, so I haven't got another 4. We're gonna have to borrow the 4 off this one.
Have you got enough puff?
Happy birthday, Maestro.
How's your seatbelt, Paul?
It's not red, is it? I spent the entire first drive in the Metro talking about how pleased I was that we'd be spending our entire day with red seatbelts on, and that's a big thing to me. That's the whole point of these cars being sporty, and here we are with another car with normal colour. In fact, they're not even normal, they're like a beigey grey colour.
Yeah, I quite like them.
This is going to sound really boring given what I've just said, but something I really like about this, and no other car manufacturer seems to have ever done it, so please tell me if I'm wrong about this, but when you open the doors, right, how often do you find yourself grabbing a handle at a funny angle, pulling the door shut? This, they've put it right where your hand rests.
Where it goes.
So when you pull the door, you're actually, for the first time in my life...
You've got a proper leverage on the door, haven't you?
I've got the right angle for the door pull.
Yeah.
Very well.
Would you like me to reverse it for you?
No, I told you, I'm 1980s man.
Are you sure?
A bit like 2024 man.
Just the same as a 2024 man.
Yes. Yes, but you've almost upset my sensibilities by even asking the question, darling. Again, we're driving a car out of the collection here, which is a real privilege, so thank you to the Great British Car Journey for trusting us with their MG Montego. 40 years old this year. Oh my goodness, that's quick. This was the fastest ever MG when it came out. 7.9 seconds to 60.
Really?
Yeah, proper performance car stats in those days.
Yeah.
And it's also the most scrapped car of the last 30 years, the Austin Montego.
Let's pick these cars up, please, Paul.
I don't think there are really any haters of any classic car now. I'd be very surprised, and if they are, then they've just got their eyes closed to the magic of any of these cars. Even if, like the Maestro, it's not a car that you particularly like or would pick to drive, there's a magic to experiencing them.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't think there's such a thing. If you're watching this and you are a hater, watch something else.
Exactly. Why have you?
We didn't do this for you.
Play?
We didn't do this for you. I knew I would like this because this is was the fastest British MG when it came out, and as I said to you at the start, the Montego always just looked right. That's those sort of sculptured lines down the side, which kind of looked wrong on the Maestro, worked really well on the Montego.
't you said earlier you liked the estate version?
Oh God, this is quick. And it sounds amazing.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's done it for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, this is proper performance car territory.
That's made up for the lack of redness.
No, I'm still upset about the red seatbelts, and I wish you hadn't reminded me. But that's cool. I mean, this was a reps car, and I know we're used to big saloon cars being powerful these days. The Germans sorted that for us, isn't that actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. we all talk about Sierra Cosworths when we talk about fast saloon cars, and this isn't the first car we think to talk about, but perhaps it should be, because that is, the pickup on this is remarkable. The gear change is actually pretty slick. It's not like stirring porridge. How many miles? I mean, this has only got 43,000 miles on it.
Is that all it's got?
Yeah.
Wow. Again,
You know,
it looks, that's why it looks pretty much brand new inside, doesn't it?
I love this.
We
I
seem
really
to be
like this.
steaming up a little bit.
We are steaming up.
Do you think we should?
We must have something to help with that, right?
Should I give you a little hand there?
But again, no talking lady. Maybe they'd gone by the later ones. This is a later MG Montego.
Well, the whole talking
O
lady
series
thing
engine.
ended up being a little bit of an embarrassment for them, didn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it didn't quite happen as they wanted it to. So.
No, she did her own thing, but then they got a talking lady, and you've got to accept
Excuse me,
that.
right? Female. She's never going to do
Exactly.
what men want her to do. I'm sorry.
No,
She's going to do her own thing.
but we
and
hadn't
they
worked
should
that
have
out.
known that.
We hadn't worked that
Well,
out
no,
by 1984, had we?
Exactly.
I was born the year this car first came out,
Thanks.
and that's quite a crazy fact when you think about what's happened in that time.
Yeah.
You know, when my dad turned 40, he got a blow-up doll called Madonna. What does the Montego get? Me and you, driving around a test route in Derbyshire.
Hang on. When your dad turned 40,
I wasn't meant to see.
he got a blow-up doll
Called Madonna.
called Madonna.
Yeah. Here I am in the year I turned 40.
Yes.
And I don't think I'm going to get a blow-up doll.
Do they still make them?
I don't know. If I'm in as anywhere near good a condition and as lively and exciting as this MG Montego is at 40 years old,
Yeah.
later this year when I turn 40, I am going to be
Can't believe
delighted.
you're gonna be 40.
I know, I can't.
Wow.
So you get like the Austin Centenary where everybody was celebrating. We've had all sorts. I'm going to turn those fans off now. They're actually blowing cold there.
Yeah, it's freezing. I
you've
didn't
got-
want to say anything.
You've got other models of car and classic cars where we all make such a big song and dance about the big milestones, and yet the fact that the Montego turned 40 was actually something that we found when we were planning this series.
Yes.
Based around the fact that the Maestro turned 40 last year. The Montego is a car which did everything it was designed to do so well. It was quite normal, but the performance car is a performance car. The estate car is probably one of the best looking estate cars there ever has been. The Countryman estate is just fabulous. And as a saloon car, it worked as well.
Yeah.
And we're not really making that much of a song and dance about it.
No, we're not. Can I have a go?
Yeah. Yeah, would you like a go?
Yeah.
So make more noise about the Montego, and they lift the handbrake off them. We're next to a river.
That wouldn't have been good.
Happy
would it?
birthday, Montego!
Oh, splash.
So if you think about the most formidable and most celebrated performance cars that we've got in the last 40 years since the Montego was built, they've all been 2-litre turbos. The Cosworths,
Yeah.
Super Imprezas, Mitsubishi Evos, and this 2-litre turbo in this Montego really is the grandfather of all of those, I'd say.
The
Bit strong.
grandfather. Maybe. I suppose if you look at it like that.
But it is fast, isn't it?
It's lovely.
It's smooth, the torque delivery is nice.
Exactly.
It's almost,
just
you think of an 80s turbo car and you expect it to have loads of lag and not actually that nice to drive, but it's really linear.
really nice. Really is nice.
So you're the best person to give us a comparison on this car because you drive the car that this replaced, the Ital. How does it compare?
And that's actually what's going through my mind as
Yeah.
I'm driving it. And I know we're in the MG version, so it probably would have been a better comparison to have been in the original.
We wouldn't have had red seat belts.
It hasn't. So it's probably, I've not actually driven the earlier Montego. I kind of remember it from my youth. As I say, as a teenager, my dad had one, but I didn't drive it, obviously. But if this is anything like, then it blows the Ital out of the water, obviously.
Yeah, of course it will. This is the later Montego as well, and they sorted out a lot of the niggles in the earlier car.
Exactly, and I think the initial replacement for the Ital, you know, probably had some similarities.
Yeah.
Performance and handling.
Yep.
But this certainly hasn't. It's miles apart, isn't it?
It is.
Miles apart.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I use the Ital as a daily driver, and this is like jumping in, for me, a modern car.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Do you know what, I'm very impressed. I've never driven a Montego, even though I do admire them, I do like them. And I'm so impressed with how smooth and refined it is. I hate to use the word refined so often, because it's a word we've used across this series a little bit too often, I feel, because we're talking about cars which are actually not that refined. We're just surprised at how refined they are compared to what we expect.
Yes.
And I was expecting this to be very raw, very clunky, very noisy, and it's none of those things. It's really comfortable.
I'd be happy to get in this and do a long journey in it. It's comfy.
Yeah.
It's...
Everything's electric.
She's electric.
She is electric.
Do you want me to sing another song?
Yes, please.
I'm not gonna, because...
I sang the Bangles in the Mini.
Oh, you
Remember
did.
that?
You did.
Yeah.
But now I'd be more than happy to jump in and go on a long journey and just know that it's going to perform well on the motorways. You know, a car from back in the day. I don't do that in the Ital. I don't get in the Ital and think, right, I'm going to drive to London in it today, and I'm completely happy that it's going to get there. I would in this.
This came out at the same time as the Rover 200 series, and they were going to call it the Rover 400, and then they decided that they didn't want to do that because of politics in the boardroom. And I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because Rover went the Honda route, of course, with the Honda partnership. What you've got here is British Leyland technology, I would argue, at its very best. And of course, we lost the Austin name during the tenure of the Montego. 1987, it all went, and the rest is history. And I just find myself sitting in here thinking, we've joked, and everyone jokes about the cliches about Austins and BMC cars and British Leyland cars.
Yeah.
But here we are sat in something that feels very accomplished, and it feels like it almost came too late. And had they done that deal with Ford and the money had been forthcoming, what would they have done? Would we have seen an MG Montego winning the British Touring Car Championship? Would we have seen teenagers aspiring to stick graphics and big exhausts on Montegos?
It just doesn't feel right though, does it? Like that would have ever happened.
No, but you just wonder what if, don't you, with something this good?
Yeah.
We've driven a lot of classic cars this year. Not just here. You and I have both driven an awful lot of cars. This is one of the very best cars I've driven this year. I would like to give this a really good spanking around a racetrack. Not this one, because this is a 40,000 mile from new,
Yeah.
cherished part of the collection.
I don't think Richard would be happy with it.
Actually, do you know what? He's all about
I was
cars
going
being
to say
driven.
he probably
So
would be.
I don't
Richard.
want
He'd be
to
like,
suggest.
"Go on then,
Yeah,
Paul,
I don't want to
take
suggest it because I
round."
know that he probably would say yes, and I wouldn't want to do
take
it.
it
But no, I would like to drive an MG Montego flat out and really give it a good old hiding, because this feels so compared to the Maestro that really didn't handle, did it? It felt wacky.
I know, but they're practically the same car.
No, they're not.
They kind
no,
of
they're
are,
not.
though,
They're not.
aren't they?
Because if the Maestro had done what they were originally going to do and
Yes.
put a boot on it, it would have been like a Jetta-sized car.
Yeah.
But they built a whole new chassis and body
Yeah.
shell for this. So no, it was basically the big Rover body shell chassis. It wasn't the Maestro. That's why the Maestro feels more than I thought it would, given that everyone talks about how stiff the body shell was
Yeah.
from
For
new.
me, it just didn't
This just feels
This is
like
lovely.
it's a proper super saloon, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I just wish I'd had my dad's old estate car now
I want to take
go
this
back home and go, oh, I'm looking forward to getting back home to taking out the Montego. But
It's the second car that we've driven this year that's really changed my mind and made me actually put a car at the
I
top of my
love
shortlist.
that. I love
This
that.
and the TR7.
And
I never expected to like this and the TR7 as much.
me too. TR7 for me was a game changer.
Yeah.
A real game changer.
The red TR7 in the collection here is it's like my ideal classic car right now.
And you know what? Isn't that what this whole thing is about?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Two British Leyland cars that I always liked. I didn't dislike them ever. But two British Leyland cars that I've come out thinking, I really want one of those.
Yeah. And I just think that's the whole idea behind Drive Dad's Car. It's all run by nostalgia. And nostalgia told you that from your youth, you thought these weren't all that good. You remember them.
Yeah.
And you even told your dad to get rid of some cars that you thought were no good. Now you're sitting here today going, I actually like these cars.
Yeah, I love this.
So people need to come and get their minds changed also, don't they?
Yeah, and hopefully we've done a bit of that with this, because we're just like you. We're basically, think of us as you sat here experiencing this on your behalf. That's the whole point of this, I think, really, for Richard.
Yeah.
We saw it a little bit differently. Oh, we get to drive all these
we get to
classic
drive
cars.
lots of classic cars and
But
see
Richard
what they're
wanted
like.
to open up, and I think somebody sent an email, so thank you, I can't remember who it was now, but somebody sent an email to the Great British Car Journey telling them how much they'd enjoyed this series, which obviously we're grateful for.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll get another series, do an Alan Partridge and get another series. But they actually said that this series had turned the Great British Car Journey into a 360-degree classic car experience for them, because not only had they joined as a member and came to the events here, not only did they bring their family and enjoy the collection, and they bring their own classic car to events here, but this has given them a different perspective on that. So if we've achieved it here for us, which I think we have, then we hope we've achieved a little bit of that for you as well, because it has been a real journey, and to end it on a car I love like this.
If it changes somebody's mind about a car and makes them want to go out and buy one,
yeah.
First things first, that keeps me in a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you. And secondly, it keeps another classic on the road. The chances are you might now see a Montego up for sale and think, I want to buy that. That's another car saved. Brilliant. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, but I don't like rust, so I'll leave someone else to save the rusty ones, and I'll take one just like this. Got to take the balloons for the maestro.
And yeah, it's a good job we didn't get out quick there, mate. You've got to love him, haven't you? Well,